Recently, I've had a lot of requests for groups, and I'm talking specific groups. It could be work groups. In fact, I just had a group that came to me, and they represented the same company from all across Alberta. And they came to Red Deer, they scheduled a full day, and which is my choice, my preference. Anything over 3 or more people that are coming together, it really needs to be scheduled fairly tightly. They came to me and I set up the day. I provided beverages for them for the day, and I provided treats and snacks all through the day. And they took their turn coming in for their private session. Now, one of the things, and it often happens with families too, sometimes there's all the women in the family want to get together and they'd like to actually come together. One of the things that I will do if there's more than 6 people in a group that want to come together is I will break it down into half-hour sessions, because 6 hours or more is just about all I can do in a day. And so if we break it into half-hour sessions, let's say there's 8 or 10 people, then we only have to deal with 4 or 5 hours of work because it's just too intense. But so I ask the groups to come with a focus. I ask each person to come with a focus. And what we do is when they arrive here at the studio, they come in and I will pick who goes first and who goes second and who goes third. I will ask them first if they have a preference, but they usually don't. They usually let me do that part. And I can usually see who's the most active and who's had information come in with them. And I will generally try to pick the most active because it opens up the day perfectly. And then we're open and off and running for every other client that comes in with that group. Yeah. When the group is larger than 6 people, we will do a half-hour session privately. And again, it requires them to come in with a focus. They can choose when they come in a group if they would like to have a psychic session only, or if they would like to have psychic combined with mediumship. And the only challenge is in half an hour, sometimes that's not enough time for us to really get into a really good, steady mediumship session. So I will ask them to have a pure focus and really be thinking about that person they're looking for if they want mediumship. The psychic aspect is really easy to do, and they can definitely have that in a half-hour session. When a group comes in for a full day, and generally a group, like I say, I will book a full day. I will put out the beverages. Of course, I have a Keurig, and everybody loves a Keurig, coffees and teas. And I provide hot and cold beverages throughout the day. And I will also provide snacks throughout the day. I'm not going to buy them lunch. They have to go and find their own way around lunch. But when they have a full day, somebody's in session all the time, and people are all coming and going. Some go shopping at Bauer Mall, or some go over to the park and they just hang out at the park, and some sit here and visit. And as the day progresses, I find that they really want to share more. So somebody will come out of the session, somebody else will go into a session, and then you'll find that there's just a buzz going on here because they're just getting all the new information on their session. All sessions are also, they're allowed to record. And they can bring, usually a lot of people bring phones to do that with. A lot of times you hear them playing back their session to their friend or to their relative to let them know that, hey, this is what I got, this is information I heard. Some of the experiences, they've been really profound with the groups that have come in. One particular group that I recall coming in was a family group. It was mums, sisters, and aunts, but I mean, I didn't know who was who and who was related to who. I just knew that this girl was bringing a group together and they were doing a social event together. So we booked the whole day, and they came in, and this one particular lady kept coming into everybody's readings, and she was interacting with them, and she had information for each of them, and it was the same lady, but I kind of didn't recognize her every time. She had a different way of presenting herself to each one of the people that came through. The last lady that came into the session, it was very clear that this was her mother. And what I discovered at that point in time was that she was sisters with several of the other women that had come into session with me, and that this was also their mother. But they all had a different dynamic with this woman. Their interactions with her were completely different because everybody reacts differently to different stimuli. And so that really showed me, and it showed them, how different our relationships are with a parent, even though we all grew up in the same home, we have the same blood, the same dynamic. There's could very well be a child that's very close to that parent and another child who's a little more distant, and they see them in a different, complete way. So that was really exciting, because then they got to share notes, and the closure for all of them was really, really high, because they needed to know this particular lady was okay. Booking a session for a group requires some planning, and I really ask any groups that want to come and see me that they give me some heads up and some time to get them scheduled in, because it requires a full day, and oftentimes I have clients coming to me during the day on pretty much any given day. I will schedule Saturdays or Sundays for groups that are coming, especially when they come from different areas of the province, and they have to travel to be here. I will accommodate them the best way that I can, because the intention is for them to have a positive, joyful experience, to have a social event happen for them as well, and to hear from people whom they love, or to get information they really need to process their life. So the best way to do that is to give me a heads up right away and call me. We can schedule that day, and at that point in time, for large groups, there is a deposit required. Now, the person that organizes that group will get a cut rate as far as cost goes. I have great appreciation for anybody who chooses to put their family together or their social or their work environment together. So they'll get a discounted rate if they're the one that put it all together, because that's a lot of work.